has shown that when women expose their flesh and make exaggerated body movements, it causes male testosterone levels to rise. Grammer wanted to see if women amped up their flirtation techniques when they were ovulating. So he set up a mobile laboratory in one of Vienna's night spots. Each woman gave a saliva sample which pinpointed where she was in her menstrual cycle and said whether she was single or had a steady partner. Then Dr. Grammer recorded how they danced.
Fertig und jetzt tanzen.
And photographed how much bare skin they were showing.
We use the outlay program and we go around with a pointer and mark the whole outline of the figure first. Then we measure the amount of pixels. These are 40,000 pixels in there. And the second step is then to mark only the skin. So now we have the skin only, and we have a percentage measure of the skin shown. We have 11,000 pixels. She is showing 25%. Enough for a very cold autumn evening. We have a digital movie now, and what we basically do is we try to identify regions in the film where motion occurred. So there are little arrows which depict the motion, the direction of the motion, and the amount of the motion.
When they added up how much women moved when dancing and the amount of skin they exposed, and compared it to the women's questionnaires, they reached a stunning but consistent conclusion.
Actually, we found something quite shocking in our research. Those women who actually had a long-term partner but went out with a friend, not with their partner, were those who sent the most sexual signals. So who exposed most of their skin and moved most attractive.
Women who were ovulating were more flirtatious. Not only that, women who were ovulating and had a steady partner were the most flirtatious of all.
Women provoke competition by going out on their fertile days, having their long-term partner at home and sending sexual signals, and then, yes, maybe do some double mating or whatever.
Infidelity is not solely men's territory. Women also have adaptations that can lead them to stray from their long-term mates.
Helen Fisher studied couples around the world to see how long they stayed together. She discovered a dramatic spike in breakups around 4 years into a relationship.
I've taken a look at divorce in 58 societies, and I've looked at adultery in 42 societies, and I've looked at pair bonding in cultures around the world. And as it turns out, I think we've evolved what I call a dual reproductive strategy, a tremendous drive to have sex, fall in love, form a pair bond, and raise your children as a team, pair bonding. And I think we also have a tendency to stray.
If men and women are fundamentally built to stray, is there any hope for love? Biology and evolution seem to say no, but there's evidence all around us that humans can and do mate for life. And many of us are very happy.
Love is so many different things to so many different people. The spiritual aspect of love is absolutely thrilling. The memories are thrilling. Looking at your own children growing up is thrilling. This can happen to you at any time in your life.
It only takes one night of passion for genes to pass into the next generation. But humans are special in the animal kingdom. We form long-term bonds.
Human reproduction is not just about sex, okay? Choosing a partner is a small part of the game. You then have to keep that partner. You have to build a nest, in a sense, with that partner, and then you need to raise children together. You need cooperative alliances with other people.
If the chemistry of passion and love can only reliably keep a couple together for a few years, what keeps some people attached for a decade or more? Enough for children not only to survive, but prosper. The answer comes from another monogamous animal. 90% of North American prairie voles spend their entire adult lives with one partner. When scientists looked in the brains of monogamous male voles, they found high levels of a hormone called vasopressin. But when they scanned the brains of promiscuous male voles, the vasopressin levels were drastically lower. So is there a monogamy hormone at work in men, too? It seems so.
We've always known about vasopressin as a hormone that was important for kidney function and important for water retention. This has been a big surprise that it may play such a role in pair bonding and in social relationships.
And much like vasopressin in men, high levels of a closely related hormone called oxytocin seem to be present in the brains of monogamous women.
You have ups and downs, and it's just one of the things where you try to not get stupid all the time and do stupid things.
Hard for him.
And, well...
You know, when I'm away and I come home and I open the garage door and I see his car in there, I just feel warm all over after 25 years.
She really made me a better man, though, for real. And I'll always love her for that.
Over the past decade, Helen Fisher and Lucy Brown have studied thousands of people in lust and in the early stages of love. Their latest experiment? Scanning the brains of those who have been in love for longer than 10 years. They wanted to see if the MRIs of these people's brains showed similar activity to those who had just fallen in love. Does the mental chemistry of love endure, fade, or change?
I think that we've evolved three distinctly different brain systems for love. One is the sex drive, the craving for sexual gratification associated with testosterone in both men and women. The other is romantic love, that elation, the focused attention, the obsessive thinking of early love. And the third is attachment, that sense of calm and security you can feel for a long-term partner.
So after we finish up, do you want to go to lunch?
Sure.
Okay.
Peter Cove has been married to his wife Lee for 24 years. They have 2 children together and run a small business in Manhattan. They are the epitome of love and happiness.
My love for Lee is much stronger and deeper now and more complex than it was when it first exploded, and that's the word I would use. There was an explosion at the beginning. That explosion powered the love that has developed over the decades.
Peter agreed to put his love to the test in Helen Fisher's study to see if his brain still pulsed with amorous excitement after 2 decades of marriage.
It is scary. I mean, just think about the idea in the future that a couple is going to get married. It's determined that one or both of them aren't really in love. What do you do with that? Do they then break up? Do they go to a counselor? I mean, how do you handle that?
He's first going to see the picture of Lee, his wife, for 30 seconds. Then there's the countdown, counting backwards from a big number. And that's to change his thinking, get rid of all the thoughts about his wife. And then we're going to show him the picture of his friend.
台湾大哥大邀请你与全球名人同享 BlackBerry 服务，独家上市 BlackBerry Storm 中文触控黑莓机，享受即时收发push mail，整合 MSN、Facebook 多种沟通平台，即时分享你的行动生活。台湾大哥大与你生活在一起，全台独卖上市风暴价0元起，多款优惠手机同享 BlackBerry 服务。
欢迎光临买凤。
你们在开心什么啊？
因为乳香世家好好喝啊！乳香世家采用日本脱氧技术，避免氧化，保留鲜乳原味，让美味更升级。
妈妈，我还要。
好喝就再来一杯啊！给家人满意的微笑。
美味鲜乳，好喝不腻，乳香世家。
照亮的光芒升起，散开整片的活力，年轻的心往前行。每一天每个地方都有个好
清新自信每一天，黑人牙膏，国家品质标章及 GMP 厂认证。
他是全世界最伟大的梦想家，史上第一次，达文西天马行空的幻想即将成真。全新系列实现达文西最遥不可及的梦想。从凶悍的坦克到火力强大的机关枪，一群科学家试图重现一位天才的旷世发明。达文西动手做全新系列 Discovery 热门9点档首播。
Come on over. Let me take it. Let me take a look.
Been waiting a long time for
this. This one here, you see that little red dot right there? That is your ventral tegmental area, that little factory near the base of the brain that pumps out dopamine and then gives you those feelings of elation and euphoria and the craving for her.
Is that the same area when you first fall in love?
Yes. It is, and that's exactly what we were hoping for. We were really hoping that you would have activity in exactly the same brain region that becomes active when you first fall in love.
Long-term lovers seem to have found a way to keep their dopamine-driven lust centers active.
You see, that, any kind of novelty drives up dopamine.
If I bring people into her life, it just we bring new ideas. We wake up in the morning, say, have you thought of this? Do we think of that? And also, we work together.
Yeah.
So there's this constant refueling of both parts, and the growing and the challenging. We challenge each other.
The news is that you can remain in love with a long-term partner that you feel deeply attached to, something that most people around the world don't believe can happen. You can sustain intense romantic love, and Peter is a beautiful example of that.
Masculine, feminine. Over millions of years of evolution, our senses have become incredibly attuned to every single aspect of sex appeal.
A man and a woman spy each other across a crowded room. He sees in her things that are cues of her age, whether she's youthful or not, things about the way that people adorn their bodies. For a woman, it's the same way. How facially masculine is he? Things about social class. All of these things combine in a fairly complex way, but human psychology possesses such a keen ability to extract those cues and from them to make guesses about a person's suitability as a mate.
Our brains take us on a relentless search for the perfect genetic match. We decode faces, bodies, voices,
1, 2, 3,
and smells. The chemicals of desire may lead to sex, and lust may turn to love. Sex appeal is a combination of primal genetic and chemical forces drawing us toward healthy partners. But completing the evolutionary cycle, raising children until they too are sexually mature, takes something much more than hormones, something uniquely human.
The ultimate evolutionary goal is still the same thing. It's to replicate your genes. You do that in different ways at different phases of your life, and that often involves making a choice and staying with the same partner, as many human beings do.
People often wonder whether they are controlled by their genes, whether we're just hormones and chemistry on feet. Absolutely not. You make decisions with your life. That's why we evolved this giant brain, in order to make decisions. People say no to alcohol, they say no to gambling, they say no to drugs, they say yes, I'm going to work harder, yes, I'm going to stay in this relationship.
The human brain, the beginning and end of sex appeal. First, it drives us subconsciously toward the best possible mates. It buzzes with chemicals as we fall in love. And then, year after year, the conscious mind resolves arguments, says sorry, keeps us together so that our children can grow and begin the cycle of evolution again.
It's a decision. People have to decide if they want to be with that person. And when they make that decision, then everything else starts to fall in place. And you don't take each other for granted.
Marriage is definitely work and a journey. It's not an overnight success thing. You got to work at it.
It's the family that you pick I mean, you don't have any choice of your own family. You're born into it. But you do have, hopefully in most cases, a choice of who to be with once you've become an adult.
Yes.
I love you.
I love you too.
Good one. Should have said you're a great kisser too.
Shh, don't get the word out.